Hello, everybody. Welcome again to Ivy English. I'm Bruce.
I'm Angela.
And I'm Wesley.
July 14th. Today we're going to be talking about Chinese becomes official UNWTO language.
好，我们今天中文标题是中文正式成为联合国世界旅游组织官方语言。
UNWTO. We were trying to figure out how we might say this as a word, but it's quite awkward if you would say UNWTO or something like that. So we'll leave it with just the 5 letters.
UNWTO.
Yes. All right. I'll read. And we have some questions at the end of this, so pay attention as I read through this. And then, of course, we'll go back and explain each and every sentence. On January 25th, 2021, the United Nations World Tourism Organization, UNWTO, announced that Chinese had become an official language of the organization. The UNWTO recognizes 5 other official languages: English, Spanish, French, Arabic, and Russian. The UNWTO is a specialized agency of the United Nations that promotes economic growth, inclusive development, and environmental sustainability in tourism across the world. Formed in 1975, the organization is a global forum for discussion and debate on tourism policies and relevant issues. It has also put forth the Global Code of Ethics for Tourism, which aims to foster socio-economic development through tourism. The code is also designed to help minimize harm caused by tourism, particularly negative impacts on the environment and developing countries. China has been a part of the organization since 1983 and initiated the adoption of Chinese as an official language in 2007. After the measure was proposed, the General Assembly accepted the proposal and passed an amendment to the UNWTO's constitution. In order to turn the amendment to policy, 2/3 of the 159 member states were required to approve the change. The required majority was eventually achieved in January 2021, at which point the amendment formally went into effect. Now that Chinese is an official language, all UNWTO documentation will be published in the language. The organization will also begin offering translation and interpretation services at all official UNWTO meetings and events. To announce the news, the UNWTO Secretary-General Zurab Pololikashvili filmed a video message during which he wrote the Chinese character for blessing and offered Chinese New Year greetings ahead of the holiday.
Okay, so on January 25th, 2021, just 6 months earlier, the United Nations World Tourism Organization, or UNWTO, announced that Chinese had become an official language of the organization. But that's a huge responsibility. If you're an official language, then you have to be, not you, the language has to be, all publications have to be produced in that language. All the events have to be translated for that language. You're creating a bunch of work. And that's good because then those people have jobs.
所以呢，我们看到这句子，他说呢，在2021年的1月25日，联合国世界旅游组织，The United Nations World Tourism Organization， 那它的这个简称是 UNWTO。好，那这个没有办法把它念成一个字，因为不好念，所以我们就一个一个字母把它念出来。好，那这样的一个这个联合国世界旅游组织呢 announced， 它宣布中文已经变成了一个这个组织的官方语言an official language。 那变成官方语言不是说随便宣布一下就好了那其实后面有很多的这个配套措施要做，例如说从现在开始呢，它的这个或者甚至它可能会追溯到以前，它所有的这个 出版的公告啊或出版的文件呢，都必须要有中文的翻译。那这个当然会有一些工作机会给那些翻译专业的人员但是事实上这个也是蛮大的一个工程他以后开会也要有这样的一个翻译人员。
The UNWTO recognizes 5 other official languages: English, Spanish, French, Arabic, and Russian. Need I say anything?
No. 所以呢，这地方UNWTO 他们也承认 recognizes 他们也承认另外5个官方的语言，包括英文、西班牙文、法文、阿拉伯文还有这个俄文。
It's interesting that 4 of those 5 languages are Western Asian, aka European.
Yeah.
But they've also mostly been, empires or colonial enterprises.
Right. English is the language most widely spoken throughout the world. Spanish is spoken throughout most of South America and a lot of the Caribbean besides Spain.
They're all international
French,
languages.
Right. Arabic is spoken in a dozen countries, North Africa and the Middle East. And Russian is widely spoken not only in Russia, but in Eastern Europe.
OK. 所以这原来的这5个语言都是这个使用人口相当多的国际性的语言。
So the UNWTO is a specialized agency of the United Nations. That means it has a particular purpose. If you're specialized, or if something is specialized, it is specifically for a particular task. And this task is to promote economic growth, inclusive development, and environmental sustainability. All of these 3 things are being promoted in tourism across the world. So their main thing is tourism, but trying to use tourism to create growth to make sure that everybody gets this growth and that it doesn't hurt the environment.
好，所以呢，这个 UNWTO 它是一个 specialized agency， 就是一个专门的机构是这个联合国的一个专门机构。那它 that 就指这个机构呢是 promotes， 它促进或者提倡 economic growth， 它提倡3个东西，第一个是经济成长另外一个是 inclusive development， 就是包容性的发展。所谓的 inclusive 就是对所有的人这个都包含进去 ，so it's not excluding any particular groups of people那像英文我们有时候常常讲说 an inclusive society 就一个包容性的社会。那在这里就是它的发展不会说只对某些人有利然后把某些人牺牲掉，或者没有照顾到某些人，不会它全部都要包含进去 inclusive development。那第3个他要提倡的是 environmental sustainability， 就是环境的永续性那这3个东西他都要提倡。那在哪方面提倡呢？在 tourism， 在旅游方面呢，他要提倡这3个东西。也就是说，旅游同时要促进经济成长，但是也要注意到包容性的发展，而且旅游也要注意到环境的永续性。那这个东西它在全球推展 across the world， 全球的旅游业应该都要注意到这3个东西。
Formed in 1975, the organization is a global forum for discussion and debate on tourism policies and relevant issues. Now we know when it began, 1975. A forum is a group of people who gather to discuss matters of import, things which affect a lot of people because it's global. There is discussion, there is debate, and they want to find ways in which tourism can be a positive force and to understand the influence of tourism on the countries which send out tourists and the countries which receive them.
好，所以呢 formed 就是成立，它在1975年成立的那这个分词片语它的主词就是主要子句的主词就是 the organization， 也就是指 UNWTO。 好，那这个组织呢是1975年成立的，它是一个 global 一个全球性的 forum， 就是一个论坛全球性的论坛。那在论坛上它要讨论什么呢？ For discussion and debate 所以在这样的一个论坛呢，大家可以讨论 discussion， 也可以辩论 debate 因为对于有些事情可能各国或者各成员国或各代表之间的意见可能不同，所以他们可能会有所谓的 debate 那 discussion 跟 debate 的差别就是 debate 可能比较具有两边的阵营而且比较针锋相对。那 discussion 就是比较 general 的讨论，所以这个 forum 就是要 discussion and debate 讨论什么东西呢？ On tourism policies 就是观光旅游的政策，他们要讨论 辩论这些东西，还有呢 relevant issues 还有一些相关的一些问题或者是议题issues。那刚刚 Bruce 老师用到一个字各位可能没有听清楚，他讲到 matters of import。 好，那 import 不是 export import 不是进口出口，那个 import 就是 importance， 好 IMPORT， 好，所以 matters of import 就是重要的事情，好，所以这是一个比较正式的英文的用法大家把它学起来，而且要记得那个 import 跟出口或者进口都没有关系。
It has also put forth the Global Code of Ethics for Tourism, which is a really fantastic idea. It's like, here's how you do tourism right. It's like an OS for tourism, an operating system for tourism, which aims to foster socioeconomic development through tourism, trying to make people have good societies and good economies through tourism. I think that's saying it a little too far, but they want people to develop socially and develop economically by including tourism in their economies.
好，所以这个句子他说 it has also put forth 就提出，他也提出了所谓的全球旅游伦理规范这个其实蛮重要的The Global Code of Ethics for Tourism。这 code 在这里其实是一个 systematic collection of rules。或者是这个rules of conduct， 或者是一些 procedure 等等，所以它是 code 在这里就是一个规范的意思是一些规定、一些法规的整合那这样的一个全球旅游伦理规范，它打个逗点 which 就是指这样的一个规范呢 aims to 它的目的是要干嘛呢 foster 就是培育或者养育to promote the growth and development of something。你也可以说 to nurture N-U-R-T-U-R-E 或者 to bring up， 所以他要这个培养或者是这个培育 social economic development through tourism， 他要这个促进要培育这个社经的发展 social economic development through tourism， 他要透过旅游业能够发展或者是培育社经的发展。
The code is also designed to help minimize harm caused by tourism, particularly negative impacts on the environment and developing countries. This Global Code of Ethics for Tourism, that's the code that is mentioned here. It's also designed not just to increase socioeconomic development, but to help minimize, to reduce to as little as possible harm caused by tourism, particularly negative impacts on the environment. If you have 100,000 people on a very, very small but beautiful island, it's not going to stay beautiful very long. And developing countries in general. If there's a lot of tourist money that goes into an area of a poor country or small country, what happens when the tourists go back or it's no longer a popular place to go? These things have to be thought about and planned ahead.
所以 the code 这个规范呢 is also designed to 它被设计用来干嘛呢 help 帮忙它希望能够帮助 minimize 就是减到最低to reduce to the smallest possible amount 它要把这个 harm 减到最低to minimize harm。 那什么样的伤害呢 harm 是 caused by tourism， 它要把旅游所带来的伤害减到最低particularly 尤其是哪些伤害呢 negative impacts on the environment， 尤其是对于环境的一些负面的影响 negative impacts。 还有呢这个 developing countries 就是 negative impacts on developing countries 就是对于发展中的国家旅游业其实会有一些负面的影响。
So China has been a part of the organization since 1983, which is quite a long time, and initiated the adoption of Chinese. If you initiate something, you start it off, you bring it up. So they're the ones that are like, hey, can we use Chinese as like the official language? And they did this in 2007. So now we know how quickly the UN moves.
Yeah, 所以呢中国呢 has been part of the organization， 这是这个组织的一部分，是1983年开始他就参与这个组织了，然后他 initiated 在这里就是发起他发起了 the adoption of Chinese， 就是采用中文 adoption 就是采用他发起了采用中文作为一个 official language那他什么时候发起的呢？他在2007年就发起了。
And remember, that's when they initiated it. It doesn't mean that's when it became one of the global languages for tourism. After the measure was proposed by China, the General Assembly accepted the proposal. Okay, we'll look at it, and passed an amendment to the UNWTO's constitution in order to change the number of languages which would be official languages for this group from 5 to 6.
所以在这个 measure 在这里不是什么方法，这个 measure 是个 a legislative bill 或者就是一个这个 a law initiative， 就是一个提出来的一个法案一个这个提出来要讨论的法案所以在这个法案被 proposed 被提出来之后呢the General Assembly 指的是联合国的大会它 accepted the proposal， 他接受了这个提案，然后呢，同时 passed 通过了一个 an amendment 就是修正修正什么东西呢？修正这个 UNWTO 它的 constitution 在这里就指它的组织章程所以在它这个中间的程序是这样子。
Now, in order to turn the amendment to policy, an amendment is just
A request.
A request. Well, in this case, it's an amendment to the Constitution means it's the rules have been rewritten. So the rule has been written, but now you have to implement it, and that's what policy is. So how the rule is carried out. So in order for this to be actually written into being carried out, you got to get 2/3 or 66% of the 159 member states. They were required to approve the change. So everyone, or 2/3 of everyone, has to agree.
好，所以呢，这个组织章程里面已经修正了，但是你要实际的实行还必须要有一些政策来配合所以他这里讲说为了要 turn the amendment to policy， 为了要让修正案变成政策也就是说让修正案落实到也就是说让这个组织章程上面的修正落实成为政策为了要落实成为政策，那这个159个会员国要有2/3，英文叫做 2/3 of the 159 member states were required to 必须要 approve the change 要同意改变换句话说组织章程已经变了，但是它落实到政策的话需要159个会员国之中的2/3同意做改变。
The required majority, that works out to 106 of the 159 seats or votes, was eventually achieved in January 2021. So it's from 2007 to 2021, record time for the UN.
That's a rate of about 10 convertees every year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's faster than Congress anyways.
Yeah, 所以他说 the required majority 就是所需要的多数是106个 were eventually achieved 终于达到了在2021年的1月终于经过这么多年之后达到了那 at which point 就是 at which point of time 就在2020年1月这个时间点上呢 the amendment 这个修正 formally 就是正式的 formally went into effect 正式的生效了叫做 formally went into effect.
And now that Chinese is an official language, all UNWTO documentation will be published in that language, which is, I'm sure everyone's concern was about the expense and nothing else.
Yeah, 这个中间牵涉到就是花费的问题了不会 anyway 这是我们刚刚讲到说 now that 就现在既然是这样子现在中文既然已经成为了一个官方语言了那所有的这个 UNWTO 的这个 documentation 就它所有的文件will be published 将会出版 in the language 指的就是中文所以它以后所有的文件必须要有中文的这个版本
The organization will also begin offering translation and interpretation services at all official UNWTO meetings and events, which is a very good idea. Not very many people who are not Chinese study Chinese. It's not an international language.
好，所以呢，这个组织就是联合国世界旅游组织呢也将会开始 offering 提供 translation and interpretation services 提供翻译还有口译的服务 translation 是指翻译就是笔译，用笔写下来的翻译。那 interpretation 是口译，那是两个不同的 skills 那所以他会提供这些服务在所有的正式的或者官方的 UNWTO 它的会议还有它的活动 events 在这里可以说是活动，它所有开会官方的会议官方的活动它都会提供中文的翻译跟口译的服务。
To announce the news, the UNWTO Secretary-General Zurab Pololikashvili filmed a video message during which he wrote the Chinese character for blessing and offered Chinese New Year's greetings ahead of the holiday. That took some serious study for him to do that. I'm kind of impressed.
Yeah. 所以 to announce the news 他要宣布这样的一个消息呢，那这个 UNWTO 他的 Secretary General 就是他的秘书长他 filmed 在这也是动词，他拍了一个 a video message 一个影片的讯息during which 就是在这个影片的讯息当中呢 he wrote 他用写的那大家都知道中文呢这个讲中文相对来讲呢是稍微容易一点的，比起要写要读还要更难更容易啦，讲中文比较容易，读跟写比较难那他居然他写了这个中文字的 Chinese character for blessing 就是写了一个表示祝福的中文字那这里看来是 the Chinese character 是一个字所以不知道他写的是哪一个字。
He probably wrote fu then.
Probably 他可能写的是
Because
福
fu, wealth, blessing, all of that.
Yeah, 因为福是一个很吉祥的字那也是可以代表 blessing 然后呢，那下面这个地方各位特别注意一下他说 offered Chinese New Year greetings 他就是拜年了然后呢 ahead of the holiday ahead of the holiday 就是这个假日也就是年还没有到，他先拜了，所以各位读英文的时候呢，常常你自己心里面要想这个不就是我们讲的拜了个早年吗所以中文讲拜了个早年，那英文不是说这个 I greet him an early happy new year 那听起来很奇怪但各位你就可以像他这样写，这里像这样写某人 offered Chinese New Year greetings ahead of the holiday 就是在这个年还没有到，他就先这个给你 greetings， 这就是我们所谓的拜的早年。那你如果平常阅读的时候能够常常这样在脑袋里面转换的话，你会对于英文会有这个更深的理解，而且可以有更好的掌握。
Okay, that completes our article, reading and explanation, but we have a few questions for you to review to help you remember what you've just learned. Number 1 is, what is mentioned as a negative aspect of tourism?
好，那文章有提到哪一个是旅游业的坏处呢？
Now remember, this is mentioned. It says this in the article. The answer is B, harm to nature.
答案是 B， 对自然的损害。
And number 2, how long did the process take for Chinese to become an official UNWTO language?
好，中文成为 UNWTO 的这个官方语言费时多久呢？
The answer is C, 14 years.
答案是 C， 14年。
And number 3, what was not part of Pololikashvili's video message?
那何者不是这位秘书长他影片讯息的一部分呢？
And again, the answer is C, a translated message.
好，答案是 C 他没有讲到一个翻译的讯息，因为他直接用中文写，而且这跟大家拜了早年了。
All right, that's it for today's lesson. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back again next week, 1 week from today. Till then, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.